Hello.
Hi, Gaya. Okay. All right. So before that, hi guys. Thank you so much for coming on board on our YouTube live. So today is the first episode of Women to Watch series. It's gonna be a four-part episode, and this four-part episode is gonna be only in July, and I'll be talking to four individuals or four women who are in the media industry. And my first guest tonight is Gayatri Su-lin Pillai, and she's all the way from KL. Hi,
No
hi, guys.
question today.
Right. Uh, uh, Basically, Women to Watch is to inspire women to be in the media industry, and
Mhm.
I feel that Gaya has. I've known her for about 6 years now. Yeah, Gaya. I
Only
think.
6 years?
Wow.
Is it really only 6 years? I think more than that. No.
Oh, is it six lah? Six lah. I think 6 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I've known her for the longest time, being in the film production industry. And I feel that she is someone that knows the inside out of film producing. So let's get into it. Before we, introduce Gaia, maybe we can, if all of you are tuning in, just say hello to the live chat comment. And if you have any questions for Gaia about film producing, you can just type in the chat, and Gaia will be happy to answer them.
Very
Yes, yes, yes. So before that, maybe my first question would be this. How did you actually get into the media industry and become a film producer?
okay. Hi, Winnie. Thank you for
Hi.
having me. Firstly. And also, I'm really happy and proud to be here today. I don't know how many people want to watch it or how many people are going to watch it eventually, but I think it's very important that women support women,
Yep.
and we give each other sort of the help that we need in order for us to succeed. So
Mm.
thank you so much for having me. I think the first question is going to be like half an hour for the answer. I
Go
actually
ahead.
started. I studied law,
Mm.
so when I was studying law, I did it. Obviously, law is something that you do, and it's more for like your parents, right? So my parents really wanted me to do law, and I did it, and I quite enjoyed it. But when I came out, I knew that I didn't want to do law. It's like my whole being knew that I didn't want to do law. So
Right.
I went on a trip as usual. I think all students will go on a trip. So I went on a
Mm.
trip to Europe, and I promptly lost my passport. It got stolen. When it got
Okay.
stolen, it was like, okay, so you asked me about turning point also is one of my
Yes.
questions. And I think it was a turning point in my life because when my passport got stolen, I couldn't go for interviews in England, where I was supposed to have interviews with some consulting firms. So I
Mm.
had to come back to Malaysia. When I came back to Malaysia, I straight away, my father was like, look, stop being a lazy ass. Oops, censored. Stop being lazy and go and get a job, So it's like, oh no, what am I going to do? And in the meantime, he was also trying to get people to speak to me and
Mm.
tell me, all these lawyers, to tell me how great being a lawyer was, right? So
Right.
I told him, I said, look, I really don't want it, but he's like, no, why did you try? Blah blah blah.
Mm.
And then suddenly there's this ad that came out, and it was by Astro Shaw,
Mm.
and it was like, oh, do you want to be in film? And
Mm.
I was, oh my god, that's a dream come true.
Yeah.
So I went for the interview with a man called Mr. Nihalsinger, actually Dr. Nihalsinger, and I went for the interview on a Saturday morning,
Mm-hmm.
and he asked me all kinds of questions. I was 21 years old. I didn't know anything. I was just went with passion. I went with sort of energy. And he was like, I don't really want to give you a job because you're a film graduate, not a film, you're a law graduate, you're not a film graduate.
Mm.
And I was like, no, please, I will do anything. And then he's like, okay. So finally he gave in, and I started work on the Monday, but he gave me a job as admin.
Okay.
So not
Mm.
even production, yeah. So admin. So I started as admin assistant,
Mm.
for admin executive for Astro
Mm.
Shaw.
Right.
So that was the start of my career.
Interesting. Okay. So, uh, when how long actually you be the admin assistant, and basically like how do they, I mean like how do you actually climb from the admin assistant to a producer or assistant producer for that matter?
So I actually okay. So I did admin exec for a while. I think it was like a year and a half or something like that. But in the meantime,
Mm,
we were actually developing a story with the
mm,
basically we were part of Shaw Brothers Hong Kong at that point.
right.
So we were dealing with all of that, and then suddenly when it came to producing the first film, which is called Nafas Cinta, very long time ago, he suddenly told me, he said, "Okay, Gaya, you are going to take on the role as production manager, okay, for this
Mm,
job." And I was like, "Oh, okay, fine." I didn't know what production manager meant really, but I was like, "Yeah, okay, fine, no problem. I do it." So I became the production manager, and we did the film in Terengganu, a lot of the part of the film in Terengganu, and I couldn't even understand the Terengganu accent. I went there, and all these people were speaking to me as production manager. So I had to find locations, I had to lock locations, and I had to learn how to speak to these people without really quite understanding what they were talking about. So it was such a trial by fire. I just like launched into it, and I just did it. And it was, the first person on set and the last person on set was me.
mm,
And it was this crazy experience. And then when I finished, I came back and I thought, oh, okay, now my boss is going to make me at least a production assistant, right? Officially. And I came back, he's like, okay, you're done with that. So now you're admin exec again. And
okay.
I at 20, I think, I don't know how I was quite young. I cried.
Mm,
I burst into tears and I said to him, I said, please, I just want to have a production title, production assistant. You don't
right.
have to change my pay. You don't have to change anything, just my title. That's all I want. And he was like, no, no, you're back to
Wow.
admin. Okay. So I was devastated, and he let me be like this. He let me think that I was deserving of only that for about 2 weeks. And then he said to me, he said, "Oh, I have to see you, young lady. Come and see me." So I went to see him, and I was moping. I was sulking because I was like, I worked so hard. I
Yeah.
did my best.
Yeah.
And he said to me, "Okay, look, I've got a surprise for you." And he gave me a letter. So I took the
Yeah.
letter. I thought I was going to get my precious sister. I was so happy. But actually, he promoted me like two steps. So I went straight from being nothing to a line
Mm,
producer. Yeah. So I just jumped straight up
wow.
to line
That
producer.
that is like a lot of optimism, like really, really effort. You really want the producer title, I would say.
Yeah, no, I wanted production assistant title. that's how
But okay, you
that's how
jump you
like
jump right through,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I jumped right through, and it was I was so shocked, but also, so
Mm,
excited, right? Because it's like, okay,
mm,
but again, it was something that I didn't necessarily know how to do. There
right.
was already a line producer, a senior line producer working with
Mm,
us at that point, and also another guy who was helping me a lot. He was actually a guy named Guna, and
right.
I had learned a lot from them. And I think it was that my boss had this sort of philosophy that um, I'm going to put her through. I really won't
Mm,
help her out. I'm not
mm,
going to help her out. I'm going to ask her to learn whatever she can learn, and then come back and ask the questions.
yeah.
And even though it's difficult, I mean, now that I look back, I mean, at that point I hated him, right? So I was like, he tortured me. But I think looking back, I realized that because of that, I learned a lot. I
Mm,
learned a lot, So I learned about even equipment. I learned about
mm,
filmmaking. I learned about how to be a manager. I learned about
yeah.
speaking Malay, understanding Terengganu slang. I learned a lot. So I think it worked. His tactic worked. Yeah.
Mm. And how long ago was that? I think more than 10 years ago, right?
Five
You've
years
been
because I'm
in
only like 25, right? Uh,
20 over years.
Alah, that was, yeah, 20 over years
20 over
ago.
years, yeah. I mean, you have been in that line for, I mean, in the industry, Astro, and then from admin assistant, or and then jump right through line producer. It's like that whole journey is really, I feel like a lot of women needs to, or any of us for that matter, needs to learn how to persevere, I feel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think,
Yeah.
yeah, I think a lot of Westerners, I think like this is a compared to I suppose a lot of other countries here in Malaysia at least, I think
Mm.
women have a lot of opportunity, so we have opportunity and we have the means to work, and we also
Mm.
want to work, and sometimes
Mm.
nowadays we have to work because of
Yeah.
money and economy.
Mm.
And I think we as women, we have to juggle a few things more. I
Yeah.
know it sounds really sort of sexist, but in a sense, we juggle a bit more than men, right?
Mm.
So we look after households and stuff
Mm.
like that. But so we have to persevere, we have to be sort of diligent, and we have to be sure about our goals,
Mm.
so that we
True.
can manage our time and manage our concentration where
Yeah.
we need it. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Okay, so before we get into our next question,
mm.
let me just take a look. How many are online? Okay, so there's about 8 people online. Yay! Hello, guys. So just say hello in the chat below. To
Hello.
see who's actually online, and if you have any questions to Gaia about film producing or production, you can just type in the live chat, and then I will put it up the question to Gaia, and then Gaia will actually answer them. Oh, we have Boy here. Hi, Boy.
Hi, boy. Thank you for joining and supporting me.
Okay, we have Satila. Okay, Satila, I actually have a question for you. So,
Uh-huh.
she asked this question. Hi, Cik Gaya, Cik Gaya. Hi,
Yeah.
Rini. Hi, hi, hi. Okay, she has a question. To as a producer, right? Can you tell her how you can actually work with Andy Lau? Okay, that question, I think it's in my question, but let's maybe answer her question first. And
Mhm.
one word for him, Gaya.
One word for him is superstar. Okay, that's
Yeah, I
Andy Lau
agree.
is a superstar. Yeah. How can I actually work with him? When I first joined Infinitus, and obviously,
Mm,
okay, I knew that it was part of his I suppose his group of companies, him and
right.
also Dato Sri Bintan. um,
Mm,
it was exciting, right? It's like, oh, Andy Lau. I mean, I watched him acting since I was growing up
since
until,
young, right?
yeah, since I was young. I mean, he's not that much older than us, but so we've been watching him since we were young.
Yeah.
And the first time I met him was in Hong Kong, and um, to be honest, I was quite starstruck for a while because this man, you see him as a great presence on screen, and suddenly he's in
Yeah.
front of us.
Mm,
And but very quickly, as I we talked, and we were doing work. Obviously, our first film together, which was J
mm,
Revolusi, he was. I think I've never really met somebody who is so hardworking, diligent, and so passionate about film. So
mm,
everything is about making good film. Everything is about challenging ourselves, and he'll challenge us and ask us to do more, and
right.
to think outside the box, and to be sort of to always challenge ourselves, I guess, to
Mm,
do something
yeah.
better than before. And
Mm,
I mean, he's a superstar, so you wouldn't expect a superstar to be so concerned and so
mm.
involved. And he totally is, yeah. So he's a pleasure to work with, and we always look forward. And we're a bit scared, every time, even until today. I've been working there for 5 years, but I'm
Oh my
always a
God,
bit
that's
apprehensive.
that
Yeah,
long?
5 years.
Oh
Yeah, always a
wow.
bit like apprehensive to show him our product, especially Hantu Kat
Mm.
Limah.
Really?
Hantu Kat Limah, yeah, because Hantu Kat Limah, we know that um, it's very culturally specific.
Right,
And,
right.
and then also in Malaysia and sorry, in Hong Kong and China, there are not many horror movies, right? So actually,
Ah, okay.
yeah, hardly any. So,
Mm,
but they watched it, and he and Dr. Sri Robintan, they both really thoroughly enjoyed it. They saw the humor, they understood the humor,
mm.
they got it. So I think it was quite refreshing for us. And we thought, oh, okay, that's great. So our that means our management, our bosses really do care about film and
Yeah,
filmmaking, right? So that's
yeah.
very comforting. Yeah.
Right, nice. Okay,
Yeah.
so Ayu is here. Yay! Hi,
Yeah, how are
Ayu.
you?
Hi, Anik. Okay, right. Ayu have a question. So let's answer one of Ayu's question first.
Okay.
So Ayu ask, what is something you must do every day which is essential in your job as a
Is that
producer? Hmm, take your
um
time.
Yeah, I think to answer that, it's
Mm.
okay. It sounds really stupid, right? But
Nothing is
I
stupid, Gaya.
no, it's kind of stupid, but I think it's quite obvious. I think the thing that we must do, like I must
Mm,
do every
mm,
day, that's
mm,
essential, is to
mm.
actually do a list. So
I think
I have,
everybody
yeah,
need to do it.
I
Yeah,
yeah, we have in a sense, what happens is we are project managers, right? So
right.
that's our essentially our job. When we have four films or three films or two films running at the same
Mm,
time at
mm,
different stages,
right.
we have a lot of things which are ongoing every day. So, like today, for example, we have
Mm,
a script meeting.
mm,
That's one part of the day. At the same time, I have a contract running, which is from a different film. At the same time,
mm,
we have an edit running from a different film, Talbis Iblis. At the
mm,
same time, we are preparing a script for another script for the end of this year. So we
mm,
have like four, let's say these four major things. I'm not talking about even the small things. These are the four major things that we have to do today.
right.
And if I
Mm,
don't come to work and I don't do a list, I will miss things, and I will leave things which are important to later, which need to be dealt with now. So I think the
mm.
most essential thing to my job or to anybody's job is true is, yeah, the
To-do
very
list.
boring lists. Unfortunately,
It's boring, but it's essential. Yeah.
it's essential. It's essential.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I think it's also because as a producer, you are the I would say you are the pillar of the whole project from like pre-production until the release of the film itself.
correct.
So that
Yeah.
it's really a huge, I would say a huge responsibility as a
Mm.
producer to make sure that everything goes well throughout, right?
Yeah, I think yeah, your finger is, uh I we are in a sense. I don't know whether we are pillars, but basically, yeah, we are the project managers. We have to make sure that everything is put in place because filmmaking is always teamwork, right? It's always about
Yeah.
partnership. So
Yep.
nowadays, even for film funding, all our films are funded by multiple partners. So
Mm,
we're always reporting to people, and we're always, it's like, yeah, we as the project manager, so we have to make sure that everything runs smoothly, on time, in budget, to the
right.
quality that we expect. Then when
Mm,
we prepare for the film to come out, we have to make sure that the marketing is done. We have to make sure that the distribution is done. Maybe we don't handle it ourselves, but we
yep.
have to make sure that the party that's handling it too is doing it within our expectations, right? And
Mm,
then it doesn't end there because after we release in the cinema, we also have to follow through on all the distribution to Netflix or to TV or to pay TV or OTT platforms throughout the world. So films are alive forever, right?
right.
So
Mm,
yeah, so as long as it's alive, we will have to deal with it. Yeah, so that's why sometimes I think people underestimate, and people, I mean, we don't blame them, right? So everyone has the right to watch a movie and complain, right? So because it's their
right.
opinion. So if you like the
Yeah.
movie, you don't like the movie, it's really up to you.
Yep.
It's up to you. You paid for the ticket.
Yep.
But
Mm,
sometimes it's so sakit hati or so sedih when it's like when you put in, a 1 year
effort.
of
Yeah.
effort to make something, and somebody with one line can just oh destroy your film, right? So it's very very sort of a full-time investment. It's like giving birth to a
Mm,
baby. I would assume I
yep.
don't have a baby, but it's like so I've given birth 70 over times already. Every film is a baby. Every film is like we have to nurture it. Every film we have to take care of it.
Yep.
And it's like it's tiring. And then somebody comes along and tells you your baby's ugly, it's like, oh no.
But
Yeah, so
it's I feel that you've definitely you feel the accomplishment like every time the baby is born, you will
yeah.
feel like, oh, I've put in effort for this. It's okay. I mean, like you can try again, that kind of thing.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, the accomplishment actually happens when you go to cinema and you sit there and you see the response of the audience.
Yeah. Mm,
Yeah. So the
okay.
live response of the audience when they respond to your movie, you feel
Mm,
that is really a really undeniably fantastic feeling when you sit there and people are laughing when they're supposed to be laughing, or they're crying when they're supposed to be crying.
yeah.
Yeah, something magical about filmmaking, I think. So that's
Mm.
what I do it.
Okay, so all right, we have another question from Ayu again.
Mhm.
So Ayu is curious. she said that there are not many female film producers. So do you
Mm-hmm.
actually carry this I am a female producer mindset, or do you see it as a genderless, and how does this affect your approach to work?
I think I don't ever think that I am a female producer, to be honest.
Mm,
Um, yeah, it never doesn't occur to me to think, oh well, I'm a girl, or so I can't do. Yeah, so I think when I first started this job, I think it
yeah.
was it was a different time, So I was
Mm,
one of the few female producers, but also I was one of the few non-Malay female producers producing Malay film.
mm,
Um, so it was I I probably felt that being non-Malay was probably the bigger challenge in the beginning, So I had to
right.
fit in, right? I had to come in, fit in. I had to understand the market. I had to learn about the market. So I think that was the bigger challenge.
Mm,
But I also find that, to be honest, this is my own personal experience. Is that I
mm,
think it's probably easier to be a female producer because people are nice to you, because you're
mm,
a woman, right?
mm,
So generally people are nicer to you, and uh, I don't know whether this also sounds bad, but in a sense, because you're a woman, I think you can approach different people in different ways,
right.
um, and they are more open to me being a female producer. But I never really think about it. I go in just being myself.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and so
Like, I
far,
need to pitch this, that kind of thing.
yeah, I need to pitch, I need to get this done. And
Yeah.
I suppose, but the traits, I think female traits, all of us, we women here, I think all these women online, we understand, besides boy, we understand that women are good at micromanaging,
Right.
so producing is a good job for women because we have a
Oh.
lot of things to manage, right? So,
Mm,
and we're good at that, right? So we're good at that. But I also feel that, honestly, I feel quite manly. I think I'm not a very emotional person.
right.
Uh,
Mm,
personally and personal life is different. When it comes to work,
yep.
I'm not emotional. I don't harbor ill feeling. I
Mm,
don't come in. I don't hold bad feelings. If I scold somebody, I'm okay 5 minutes later. If I get scolded, I'm also okay 5 minutes later. I don't, simpan lah. I don't simpan
yeah, yeah, yeah.
dendam ke. I don't simpan terasa hati ke. I don't. So I think that has helped me. I don't know whether it's helpful information to people, but I think that really helped me in my career because
Mm,
um, other people are emotional and they hold it. They
yeah.
they can they can be nasty to you 2 weeks later for something
Mm,
that was there. And by the time it's 2 weeks later, I've forgotten what the issue is. But these
mm,
people don't, right? And I find that these people, so far in my career, I found that these kind of people don't move up as fast, or nor do they succeed as well,
mm.
because of that trait. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay, let's see some comments here. Hi Zuraida. Zuraida say hi, ladies. Hi Zuraida. Okay, we have more question, but before that, let's say hi first.
Hi,
Hi to Hafiz. Hafiz is here also, so boy is
hi,
not alone. Hafiz is
Happy.
here.
So we
I
have
have
two
one.
guys.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
we
have
have
one
two
of my
guys.
friend. I have one of my friend also, Jit.
Hi,
So Jit
dear.
is here. Hi, Jit. Okay, so before that, let me also ask one of my question,
Uh-huh.
which is for example, right? If I want to be a film producer, or anyone, or any women wants to be a film producer, how do I basically not grow jaded and make sure I maintain a sense of wonder and basically love what I do lah in film producing? Or maybe you can share, like, how do you make sure that you don't grow jaded?
Uh, uh, I I think it's a good question.
Yeah.
I think in particular, to be honest, because we are filmmakers,
Mm,
we deal with stories, right? We deal with
right.
with stories and we deal with people. So every
Mm,
project is different. Every
right.
project we deal with different people, we deal with different stories. So to be honest, it's really hard to get jaded. I think
Mm,
the thing that we may get jaded with is perangai orang. I think, yeah, I think that part. Uh, as I age, You know, when I was
Right.
younger, I was different. Now, when I get older, I feel that I have less. I think I have less patience to deal with people who are too mengada lah. You know, mengada
Okay.
ataupun like just not logical and perangai just whatever perangai discipline perangai ke perangai mengada ke perangai you get to a stage where you feel that look, you know what, we're all doing a job,
Yeah.
right? Each
Mm.
of us are being paid to do a job,
Mm.
and it would be nice if everyone could be professional. I think that part you can get quite jaded because you work with people and sometimes you have to convince people, you have to, it's like asking people to do their job. You have to beg them to do their job, to do their job well.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you can't just show up and then expect to be paid. You need to show up and then do
And do
something,
it. Mm.
contribute, yeah, and
Mm.
and work really hard to make sure
Yeah.
that your quality of work is up there. And
Mm.
I think that has been a point which I find quite frustrating for quite a long time. So that's why we are also quite careful who we work with.
Right.
Um, Yeah, because sometimes it's better to deal with people that we know and we know how to work with them than getting some people that yeah, each film, we meet different people, and sometimes it's like, oh no, kenapa that guy is
Mm.
like that, so yeah, so I think that part. So anyway, long story short, the how to keep myself from being jaded is that I remember
Yes.
that at the end of the day, this is something that I love doing,
Mm.
and at the end of the day, when we come home at night,
Mm.
we want to feel a bit fulfilled about what we've done, right? So
Right.
I think I keep that in mind. So that's the short
Mm.
answer.
Okay, good. I like that. Okay, so we have more questions. So
Mhm.
let's put up Jit question. So Jit actually asked, "Hi Gaia." All right. So
Hi.
he is asking, is the landscape of film producing changing with the likes of Netflix, Apple, and Disney producing film themselves?
If you're just talking about Malaysia at the moment, no
Mm.
lah. It's not really affecting Malaysia. Worldwide, I think if they're producing films for the cinema and if they're it's just having another producer come in and produce films. I think what maybe the question is that how is OTT platforms affecting film?
Right.
um, that is slightly different. I think especially now with this COVID and with what's going on with in Malaysia, it's called MCO. In Singapore, it's
Circuit
something
breaker.
else.
Circuit breaker.
Um, Circuit breaker. In terms of us now having to find options, so cinemas in Malaysia have just opened in July,
Mm.
and right now there are many things which are being done to try to drive people to come back to the cinema, but it's not really filling up yet, right?
Mm.
During the MCO period, places like Astro First gave
Right.
producers an opportunity to release their films on the Astro First platform.
Mm.
And that has become something which is now the big question mark. Uh, are people willing to watch films on small screen, right?
Right.
So
Mm.
the youngsters which are coming up, you guys, whoever you guys are, you have a different viewing expectation
Right.
than us and
Mm.
older than us, So maybe that might be the future, and I think that's what's changing the landscape of film in Malaysia. So now people can assume that, I can't assume, we can hope that there will be different sort of avenues of distribution and not
Right.
fixed to one.
Mm.
um, yeah, but old timers like me, old school people like me, will still want to produce films for cinema.
Right.
But we also want to then, in terms of business, and everything is a business, we still need to cater to OTT platforms, so we have to take care of that as well. But we would also like to make films which are film worthy. You go to cinema and it's all a whole experience with the sound, with the beautiful
Right.
visual, So yeah, I think me personally, that's what I like to do. So maintain that, but to start venturing into OTT films. Yeah,
Mm. Which I think Infinitus has did once, right, with Netflix. Oh no, that one is iFlix. Am I right to
iFlix,
say? Yeah,
iFlix. Or Mat
that's
Lindu.
only in Malaysia, right? Or it's
Really?
actually available. Definitely not available in Singapore.
It's available
I
in Indonesia.
Indonesia. Okay, so it's Malaysia and Indonesia. It's on
Yeah.
iFlix. So that one,
Okay.
Infinitus has basically venture into that as well. So that is the
Yes.
only one so far. Do you have
So
any
far,
like
dealing with
Netf?
we're dealing with some people now,
Mm,
so we'll see where we're going with that.
mm, right.
But yeah, I think it's quite interesting because OTT allows us different sort of content, right? So
Mm,
different styles of content which may differ from the mass films that we make for cinema. So cinema, we don't
mm,
really want to do niche, right? So you want to do mass films so that people, yeah, mass people, so everyone can go
right.
and watch the film.
Mm,
But for OTT platforms, we feel that they can be quite specific about the crowd that they want to target,
right.
so we can help achieve that aim.
Mm. Okay, for the benefit of the viewers right now, what is OTT?
Over the top. Over the
Okay.
top is, yeah, online, over the top online delivery, I suppose, of platforms. I don't
Okay.
know how to say, yeah.
All
Sorry.
right. Okay. So we have one more question. Rose. Hi, Rose. Okay. So he is asking, what is the most important skill you need as a producer?
People management,
Mm,
uh, people management,
mm,
and of course financial management. So we need to control
yeah.
budget, right? So we control the money. So these two actually, but people management is probably the most
Most important.
important skill you need to have.
Right. Yeah. I think yeah, like I mentioned earlier, producer is the pillar of the whole movie. So
Mm.
especially if people like you know, like you can manage people, then they
Yeah.
will say yes to your film.
Yeah, yeah, in a way it's true. But on set, basically, producers have a really sort of bad rep because we control
Really?
budgets.
Okay.
Yeah, we are like the bad people, right? So we come in, even though we hire everybody, but we are
Right.
the ones who will curb people. Oh, you don't cannot spend this, you cannot buy this, or you can buy this, but you cannot do this. We can only afford this, or
Mm,
so we sort of tell them, we sort of in a sense dictate what the whole
yeah.
project is going to be like.
Mm,
So we do all of that, and on set the director actually will be king.
mm,
Producers don't usually um, producers don't usually sort of control the set, right? So the director controls the set because the director is the creative head. But
mm,
when there's problems, then everyone will run to the producer. But if there's no problem, then it's fine. It's just like a well-oiled
yeah.
machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, but then also the bad rep happens because every time a film does well, people talk about the directors and the cast, but very few people
Mm,
talk about the producer because yeah, it's
mm,
the boring, it's the boring person in the whole equation, right?
mm,
Yeah, so but we are the ones who have to put everything together, and we have to make sure that whoever has invested X amount of money makes
right.
money back, right? So
Mm,
it's a very, very important aspect of what we do.
mm.
Yeah, so then we have
So
to pressure the
do
creative people to deliver.
mm, do producers actually be on set all the time?
I am.
Do you, okay. But
Yep.
generally do producers
Probably,
actually be on set
I
all the
don't
time?
know. I don't
Okay.
know because I don't go to people's sets. I think it's quite. Although this is me personally, I think it's quite rude to go to other people's
Mm,
sets without being invited.
right.
Because you don't want people to feel that you're scolding their film, right? Their film or
Okay.
their sets.
Mm,
So I don't invite myself over, but I myself make it a point to go to the sets every day. But I
mm,
also have a line producer that I can depend on. So in my case, I have two,
mm,
called Sharul and Faiz, and
mm.
they will handle the day-to-day running of the set for me.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Mm.
Mm.
Okay. Right. Ayu has another
Oh
question.
my God, someone says
Uh,
hi. Yeah,
Ayu is on the roll. Ayu is on the roll with questions.
yeah.
Okay, so she is asking, in your opinion, is it better to produce films direct to Netflix or go to cinema and then direct and then Netflix route? I mean, I think just now you did mention earlier, right? So maybe you can just, like sum it up.
Actually, to be honest, so hopefully someone from Netflix is watching this, but Netflix has not commissioned any
Maybe I can
Malaysian
share
company.
the Netflix.
Yeah, right. Uh, Commission any sort of local content except for one which is called Ghost Bride, which is the Chinese language content.
Okay.
But otherwise, I to my knowledge, there hasn't been any further local commissioning of content. To
So
my
it's
knowledge, I don't know.
so it's always
Mm.
cinema and then to Netflix.
So far, for the ones that are featured, except for Ghost Bride, the rest have
Right.
been licensing to Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then she got another question. Follow up to that question. Do you think the fact that there is now a faster lead time for films to be on Netflix helps battle piracy?
Do you think there's
Gayatri.
a? I'm thinking about the faster lead time. What do you mean? What is the?
Uh,
Okay, never mind.
okay.
The I think in Malaysia so far, in terms of what we do, is that we release in cinema and then we will go to Astro first,
Right.
right? So Astro First is also a pay per view, and so we go there first, and then
Mhm.
after that we will go to Netflix. But
Okay.
there are some producers which, for example, like um, Pulang and
Mm-mm.
also Want to Jaga. Those films went straight from cinema to Netflix. Okay,
Oh,
so then the battle for piracy, to be honest, the minute that your film comes out on any platform, Malaysians are fast enough to copy it and put it online. So yeah, no, as soon as it comes out. So even actually in cinema, we have had people who bother to take their phone and
yeah.
as they're watching the movie, record the movie and post it on their
Mm,
Facebook. So
mm,
piracy starts even then, right? So I mean, we try
mm.
to curb it, and there have been a couple of cases where people have been sued in court,
Yep.
and I think Scope in particular, they won 100 over 1,000 from this guy.
Mm,
But people still do it.
mm,
They still do it. They have no respect for copyright.
mm.
And I suppose sometimes, they don't think of it that way. They just think of it like, oh, bestnya nak share dengan kawan kalau I dah tengok, I can share with my friends lah. Or
Yeah,
maybe they think that, oh, they just want the views, but they don't realize that one posting on Facebook can take away 400,000 views,
true.
So maybe 400,000 people would not have gone to the cinema, but let's say we take even 20%.
Mm,
20% of that, if they went to cinema, that would mean money for producers to then earn some profit and then make some more films. So,
mm.
yeah.
Right.
Anyway, kita dah
Okay.
melencong. Sorry, Ayu, melencong in the
No worries, no worries. Yeah. Okay, we have another question. Okay,
Okay, no,
before
I just
that,
wanted to say, hi,
uh,
Ziad.
I
Yeah,
know,
hi,
right? I was about to go there. I
hi,
think this family just misses you a lot. I think I miss you a lot.
yeah,
We have not met like
for ages,
almost.
right?
When did I meet you? Okay, now it's like personal question.
I think the
Okay,
last
I
time
think
we met
it's a
for Sangkar's
longest.
release, very long time
Yeah,
ago.
I know, right? So yes, hi Zia. Never say hi Auntie Marini. Okay, never mind. So I have another question for you from Zuraida. How and where you get inspiration in getting ideas to produce great movie and interesting storyline?
Thank you for the question. It's a really good question. Basically, I think life, when we sit every day and we watch people, right? So we watch people, we watch movies, we read. Um, Anyone can be inspiration. Honestly, if you look at your friends, you look at a topic that somebody is going through, So if you have a friend, like let's say a girlfriend who has marital problems with her husband, and they tell you the story, you can pick up on something. So, oh, there's a story there. If you pick up the newspaper, nowadays no newspaper. If you just open Yahoo or you
Yeah,
open Instagram, you'll
Google
see
News.
something that piques your interest. So I think we find inspiration from everywhere and anyone. And
Mm,
I'm lucky enough that my team, the people that I work with, everyone loves to watch films. So,
right.
we watch everything and anything. And then when we come to office, we'll be like, oh my God, did you see that movie? And it's so great. So we talk about character. And a lot of our films start with good character. And I think
Mm,
last time, as you all know, also, films like Sangkar, our own cast have ideas, So when we speak to directors and we speak to actors, all of them have a lot of good ideas that they share with us.
mm.
And then also, of course, we get some ideas from actual writers who send
Right.
us their concepts. So yeah, so actually we have a multiple sort of source of inspiration.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, one question. Oh, are you actually agreed that Ghost Bride was nice? So yeah, I think we need more of such content. Because people nowadays we consume content from small screen.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, to get a better experience, you need to go to the cinema, and then to get a better experience, like I would feel. But content like, like Ghost Bride and stuff like that, we should have more of such content in Netflix. Do you
I hope
what do you want?
so. Yeah, I hope so. And don't forget me, Netflix.
Actually, okay, I shall share that part and then send to Netflix lah.
And they're just so hard up, right? We're not really that
Kan?
hard up.
Okay, all right. So, okay, one more question. How much influence a producer has in determining the actors playing in the film?
Okay, so basically, how a film is made is that
Mm,
when we get a story, a concept, we will actually put a whole pitch deck together, where when we see the character, we as producers will decide within our company,
mm,
who we think are the relevant actors who are sesuai lah for the role.
right.
Then usually what happens is when we pitch to our partners, the partners or the other companies such as, for example, Sangkar would have been Primework Studios,
Mm,
MM2,
yep,
Astro Shaw,
that's true.
these partners will also get a say. So they will say, okay, what do you think about this or this person instead? Or they will
Mm,
share some experiences with us. But also the other very important person is the director. So the director
mm,
needs to be convinced, and the director can, of course, give names because they have worked with somebody before. They know the range
the
of the actor's worth, I guess. So I think we put a lot of weight onto the director for their opinion, but
mm,
also to our partners.
mm,
We take it collectively, but at the end of the day, the producer and the director will have the most say because we have conceptualized the idea and we have
right.
sort of put the project together. So most of our partners are very good, and they will always sort of give us that benefit of the doubt that we know
Mm,
who's the best casting for the film. Yeah.
right. Okay. All right. I have one last question for you, Gaya. So,
Okay.
I mean, like, uh, I've known you, like, okay, like I mentioned earlier, I've known you for about 6 years. I know that you have been in the film or producing for the longest time of your life. I I think it's like, like film producing is your heart and soul of you.
Yeah.
So if you could actually go back and talk to your younger self about your work life, what would you tell yourself? Say about when you were just starting out as a line producer.
Um, what would I say? I think I would say that I should have been a bit more relaxed.
Okay. What,
Like
what what
probably,
makes you say that?
now I'm in my mid 40s, and I sometimes when you look back, you realize that you can't get your youth back, right?
Right.
So, I think I spent a lot of time, and then even now, I mean, even now at 45, I am conscious. I have to consciously tell myself to take a break, and I think I should have spent more time when I was younger traveling,
Mm,
and sort of taking the break, and
mm,
I didn't because I think we I'm so I'm not a workaholic, but I think I have pride in my work. So
right.
what happens is, you put in so much. I think I put in so many hours into my job that I didn't leave that much time for myself to do things that I like. So um, the last time that I actually traveled outside properly was um, last year, January, and then
Oh
for
my
like
god.
yeah, and then November I had like a 3 day break,
Uh,
um, and that's about it. So I think yeah, I think I tell my younger self, and I think all the young people who are here
mm,
today, realize your work-life balance. But when
yes.
you work properly.
Mm.
Don't mess around because yeah, if you're doing 8 hour days or 10 hour
Mm.
days, if 5 hours of that is checking your phone and not really paying attention,
Yeah.
then you end up, yeah, you're not being very productive. Then
Yeah.
your work spills over to your home
To
life,
another day.
right?
Mm.
Yeah, or to another day, right? So then
Mm.
you start feeling overwhelmed. But
Yeah.
if you do work well within that 10 hours, well and efficiently, actually, most of us can have a good work life balance, right? So
Mm.
yeah, so I think now at 45, I'm telling myself, look, when things are like now, it's quite relaxed.
Mm. Mm.
MCO was actually a really good break for a lot of us
Yeah, yeah,
because
correct.
you're forced to stay home and you're
Mm.
forced to like have time to spend at home. And I think that was a really good. Um, my shoulders stopped aching. Everything was better for a short period of time. So yeah,
Mm. I think it's a blessing in disguise that the MCO and the circuit breaker happened. I mean, the whole COVID-19 actually happened, and everybody has to, like, take a step back and relook at what you want
reevaluate.
to do. Yeah, reevaluate on what you want to do, and then also to do things that you love, and to also spend time probably with your family. Cannot
Yeah.
be friends, must be family because you're staying at home, right? Like
Yeah.
playing with cat, playing with dogs, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you start to get a bit more, I suppose, grounded, right? So we are we realize again, like, oh, what is it that we want? What is it that we're going for? What is important? So I think I wouldn't say is great that COVID happened. Of course not. But
of course
for
not.
me,
Yeah, it's a
yeah,
blessing.
for me it was a transformative time.
Yeah.
It was
Mm, mm,
very much.
yeah. Okay. Oh wow, we have talked for almost an hour, Gaya. That's really a good one. All right, I just want to thank all of them who are here. All eight of them, actually, eight of them. There was actually 11, so now eight of them are watching. Thank you so much for
Thank you
being here.
all.
Yes, and thank you for all the questions. It was really, really helpful, especially for all aspiring women who wants to be a film producer, or anyone for that matter who wants to embark into film producing. So hopefully this series, or this episode one, will actually help you guys to move forward. What kind of films you want to go, and whether you want to go ahead with film producing. So thank you so much, Gaya, for being here with me. Don't forget to subscribe to Infinitus Films. Okay, let me
Yes.
just type. Yes, let me just type on the banner here to subscribe to Infinitus Films, and also subscribe to my channel, definitely. All right, subscribe to Infinitus Films. They have lots of good content coming up. Uh, and also they are now doing what the new episode of Sembang Santai, is it, or something like that?
Yes. So we have our next one coming up soon.
Yeah,
I
yeah. So
think
it's
every Friday.
right. So it's about like behind the scenes, what's happening behind the scenes, and you can watch a lot of video content in their YouTube channel. So
Yeah.
subscribe to them, subscribe to my channel for more videography content. And thank you so much, Gaia, for gracing my first episode of Women to Watch. And
Well,
thank you so
congratulations to
much.
you.
Yeah, thank you so much for all the viewers, and all for the question. Right. Thank you, Gaia. Bye. Bye,
Thank you so
guys.
much. Bye.